Hello everyone. In this video I'm going to talk to you about how to create a rubric in Canvas and how to grade using that rubric. Canvas gives us lots of options, and those options are useful to us regardless of whether or not we're teaching face-to-face, online, or hybrid. Before I go over the technical aspects, I'd like to go over the benefits of rubrics. First of all, if you decide ahead of time exactly how you're going to grade, what an A project is going to look like, what a B is going to look like, or if you decide ahead of time what mistakes students might make and how much they can lose for each of those mistakes, you are going to more fairly and consistently assess your students. We give our students assignment sheets to help them understand the project, but we often forget that students will have never seen an example of this project sometimes. And the criteria and the descriptions we provide on the rubric can often provide more clues to our student about exactly what we are expecting of them. So the rubric can help students better understand the task we're asking them to complete. Students can also better understand their grade. Sometimes if we give students a B without a rubric, they might think we just arbitrarily assigned a B. With a rubric, they can better understand exactly where and why they lost points, which can give them increased opportunities for reflection and improvement because they understand better that the next time I do this assignment, if I want an A instead of a B, this is exactly what I need to do differently. This is the category I need to get a better score in. You can also grade more efficiently and more quickly because you have decided ahead of time what you're going to grade based on, and you have this tool that helps you assess very quickly a student's grade. Now on to the technical aspects. Canvas gives us two main ways of grading our students using a rubric, and I'm going to go over both of them. First, when you create an assignment in Canvas, you include your instructions, and this is where students will come to submit their assignment. Underneath the instructions is this button, Rubric. When you open the rubric, this is what you're going to see. You're going to get a blank category, one category, and a blank title. You want to title your rubric so that you can find it later. And you're going to go ahead and edit your first category. So you're going to decide one thing you're going to grade your students on, and you want to describe what a student has to do to get a perfect score in this category. You can also include information about common mistakes students make and that would lose points. But I like to describe a perfect paper so my students understand what the goal for this category is. I update my criterion. And then it's hard to understand, but I'm going to show you this on another screen in a second. These are buttons, and I can give my students 5 points right now or 0 points in this category. I can click this little symbol here to edit that. Edit the description, which is full marks and no marks. I can edit the quantity of points. I can also add a button. So maybe I want to give students half credit as an option on this rubric. Now I've created a third button, so when I come to grade this, I can click 5 points, 3 points, or 0 points. And I can change the quantity of points for this category, and this will change accordingly. Okay. When I create other criterion, I have to click New Criterion, title it, give a description of a perfect paper or project in this category, and it will give me the default again. So I need to either add a button to give a half credit option, or I can leave these differently so that I can give 5 points or 0 on this category, but this category they can get full, half, or 0 credit. I can also make categories worth different amounts by editing that here. Once I have done everything that I want to do with my rubric, I've added all the criterion that I want to add, I'm going to create the rubric. Let me show you what that will look like. You'll come to the student's speed grader. When you come to see their assignment on the left, you'll click, which I don't have here right now, but you'll see the assignment here in this panel. You're going to click View Rubric, And the rubric will look like this, and you can push a button to assign a score in that category. You can also add a comment to explain why they got half credit instead of full credit, for example. So you can go ahead and do that. Now, when I'm creating the rubric, if I click this little button, use this rubric for assignment grading before I create the rubric, what that does is take this score at the bottom of the rubric, and when I save my comments on their rubric, it will automatically transfer that score to the grade book from this assignment. If I don't click that box, I will fill out the rubric, hit save, and then still need to assign a grade for this assignment. One reason for that would be if, for example, you've assigned extra credit and the final score because of the extra credit will not match the rubric score, then you can do that. However, if your rubric score is going to be the final score, save yourself some time and remember to click this little box before you create the rubric so that once you filled out the rubric and hit save, it copies it to the grade book and you can go on to the next student. The other kind of rubric is very similar with a few small changes in the creation process. So I go to my assignment, under the instructions for the assignment, I click rubric, I name my rubric, I create criterion, describe an A, and then, just do as many criterion as I need. Decide how much each criterion is worth, and then I'm going to click use this rubric for assignment grading so I don't forget, and then I'm going to click this button right here. I will write free-form comments when assessing students. As soon as I click that, the buttons are going to go away, and instead it's going to give me a blank area for leaving comments. What that allows me to do is leave comments, and instead of assigning a button grade, I can give any score up to 5 points for this category. I can give any score up to 10 points for this category and write comments in here about why I decided on that number. I'm going to go ahead once I have all of my categories and all of my values set, and I want to make sure this totals the number of points that the assignment is worth. If this is a 100-point assignment, I need this to total 100. If this is a 10-point assignment, I need this to total 10. I'm going to create my rubric, and then when my students turn in their assignment, well, before they turn in their assignment, when they come to turn in their assignment, this is what they will see. When I've created a rubric, under the instructions for the assignment, they will see the rubric that they are going to be graded by, so that they can go ahead and use this as a sort of checklist to make sure that they've done everything correctly. So they can use this rubric to help them. They turn in their assignment, and when the due date has passed, you come to SpeedGrader to grade. When you open SpeedGrader, you will see the rubric. When you open the rubric, you'll see your categories. You can always click View Longer Description to be reminded of what you said an A paper would do in this category. And then you can type comments here to give students feedback as to why they got the score you gave them. 10 out of 10 points, so on and so forth. If you take away points, I strongly encourage that you describe exactly why you took away the points. And then there's this neat feature where if you find yourself saying the same thing over and over again to students, you can actually save that comment, type this comment, and say, next time I want to be able to use the same comment again. And on the next student's essay or project, you will see a drop-down menu, and you can pick a comment from the drop-down menu to automatically fill in, which will save you some time if you find yourself typing the same thing over and over again. Once you've filled in all of the scores and all of the categories and given students comments on why you've taken away points in those categories, if you hit save, if you remembered to tell the rubric to use this for assignment grading, you hit save, it will copy that 90 points out of 100 to this student's score for this assignment in the grade book. The last thing I'm going to show you is that you don't have to write a rubric from scratch every single time that you are doing this. First of all, you can search Canvas for rubrics that other teachers have built. But more importantly, if you're teaching 3 sections of this class, or you taught this class 2 semesters ago, when you assign the assignment, you create the instructions, and then you come down here and you click Rubric. But instead of building the rubric, you push this button that says Find a Rubric. And you're going to see all of your past classes in Canvas here. And you can click through them and find a rubric that you used in the past. And you can go ahead and import the rubric. And then it will appear under the assignment instructions for your students and for you. Now, if something changed in the last 2 years since you taught this assignment and you want to change something, you are not committed to using the rubric the way it was, you can always edit it. So you hit this little edit button and you can delete categories, edit descriptions, change values, add new categories, and then just update the rubric. Don't forget to click Use this rubric for assignment grading to save yourself some work, and you're going to go ahead and update the rubric, and then it'll appear in your speed grader. I hope that this helps you understand a couple of the options for building a rubric in Canvas. Of course, if you have any questions for us about what kinds of categories you should include, what the description should look like, how much value to assign to categories, or any questions at all about rubrics, we at WAC would love to help you. We'd love to meet with you one-on-one or correspond via email. Feel free to visit our website, wac.fiu.edu, or shoot us an email at writing@fiu.edu. We'd love to help you. Just reach out to us.